My name is Thomas Steiner. I work for a company that you may have heard of, colorful new logo. We're located right next door in the ABC-Straße. But yeah, today I'm presenting joint work from a number of other offices as well. So this is joint work with Danny Brandajic and Thomas Pellissier-Tanon from the San Francisco office, and Sebastian Schaffert from the Zurich office, and yeah, me myself from Hamburg. This is one of the famous, infamous Google 20% projects. The title of this talk is Migrating Freebase to Wikidata. Okay, so let's start with Freebase. What even is Freebase? Who has heard of Freebase in the room? Okay, couple of hands. Who has heard of Wikidata? Essentially the same hands. All right. For those who don't know what Freebase or Wikidata is, Freebase is a large collaborative knowledge base. And yeah, the data in there is mainly fed in by people from the community. Yeah, it's an online collection of structured data that comes from many sources, and yeah, most of it is from individually contributed, wiki-like contributions. Freebase was a product that was initially developed by a company named Mediawiki, which was then acquired by Google. Yeah, you may have heard of Freebase in the context of the Google Knowledge Graph. The Knowledge Graph, in part, is powered by Freebase. The data in Freebase is available under a CC by attribution license. And yeah, this means you can use it for commercial and for non-commercial use. For Wikidata, you can see the slide is essentially the same. There are small details. So Wikidata as well, a large collaborative knowledge base, also fed by community members. Online collection of structured data, that's exactly the same. But Wikidata, as the name suggests, is a project from the Wikimedia Foundation. The Wikimedia Foundation is the foundation behind Wikipedia, Wikimedia Commons, a whole bunch of other projects like the Wiki Dictionary, and yeah, a huge bunch of amazing projects. And the Wikidata data is actually available for as well commercial and non-commercial use, but under a CC0 license, which means you're completely free to do what you want with it. It's public domain essentially. So you've heard twice already the term structured data. So what even is structured data? You can think of it as data in a machine-readable form. What even does that mean? So the most simple way of expressing data in a machine-readable way is using the Resource Description Framework, or RDF, as you may have heard in the past. If you look at it, it's very simple. It's subject, predicate, object pairs. Like, for example, London has population of 8 million whatever. So if you remember your primary school days, at one point in your school career, you may have had to underline all the nouns in a text, all the verbs in a text, and so on. So this is essentially the simplest way of how you can express stuff about the world. So London has a population of whatever. The mayor, Hamburg has a mayor whose name is Olaf Scholz, and whatever. So the simplest way of representing data is sometimes not enough. So Wikidata uses a slightly more complex data model. You can still see the essential bits and pieces. So London, population, and then the value. The thing is, what Wikidata does, they add sources and they add qualifiers. So what is a source? A source is essentially something that says, where this information comes from. So London has a population of whatever, says whatever source. So maybe the official homepage of London or whatever. And then something interesting as well is it has qualifiers. So this means some additional metadata on top of this fact. So in this case, preliminary estimate as of June 2012. So this gives you some sort of context, because the thing is, if you look at this, London has population, and then put yourself back, say, 50 years, for example, London wasn't that big of an immigration town as it is nowadays. So probably at some point in time, this number was smaller. And probably if you look at London in, say, 20 years, this number will be even bigger. So you can see already where this is headed. For many of the facts, you may want to have qualifiers to tell you, well, what is the context about this? Where does this data come from? So sources and qualifiers. And yeah, then just for terminology, in Wikidata terms, the pair of the property and the value is called a claim. You have to go to the qualifiers. The whole thing is called a statement. So everything, the sources, the actual fact, and the qualifiers. And yeah, this is the data model that is behind Wikidata. All right, so if you look at Freebase today, it looks somewhat like this. More interesting is if you go to a concrete item page, like I did in this case, I went to the Hamburg item page, and you can see already in the URL, freebase.com/m/03HRZ. So these URLs are meant, obviously, not for human consumption, but for machines. So this is the unique identifier of the concept of the city of Hamburg. And if you look at it in a bit more detail, I know it's very small, but maybe you can still read it. So you can see it's also known as, and then Hamburg, Germany, Hansestadt Hamburg, Freie und Hansestadt Hamburg, and so on. There are 7 more values. So these are already a couple of facts about our nice hometown here. And then you can, oops, sorry. Then you can see here a description of the concept. You can see an image. And yeah, so if you actually go to this page, you can see all the facts about Hamburg that are known in Freebase. All right, so this is Freebase. Let's look at Wikidata. The Wikidata homepage, yeah, it's like a portal where you can navigate to different item pages. So let's actually go to one. Let's go to Q1055. So that's the URL, the concept identifier of Wikidata for the same thing. So for this beautiful town, Hamburg. And you can see it looks, yeah, a bit different, but you can kind of recognize the things from before. So Hamburg is the subject, located in the administrative territorial entity of Germany, an image, and you can see a link to a JPEG image. Topics main Wikimedia portal, portal Hamburg, locator map image, and so on, an SVG of a map. So yeah, you can see here, it's again the subject predicate value pairs or object pairs. And then you can see for a number of them, there are references. So for example here, there's one reference. So yeah, you can see already, they're pretty similar. The thing is, Freebase is gonna be shut down. Boom. So yeah, when Google acquired Freebase or Mediawiki, and then the database behind it, Freebase, yeah, it was used to get the initial version of the knowledge graph out to get all the structured data. But then at some point, people, and I'm not talking about me, but product managers who have the kind of decisive power to make these decisions, decided, well, yeah, let's actually shut down Freebase and donate the data to Wikidata, because Wikidata is pretty similar, as you've seen already by this short introduction that I've just given. And yeah, it's community driven. So Freebase was also community driven, but the community from Freebase was very active, but relatively small compared to the movement behind Wikidata. So long story short, there is a migration path from all the data from Freebase to Wikidata. It's kind of a data donation in a sense. So yeah, we wanted to make sure that the data doesn't just get shut down and deleted, erased from the history forever, but that it's useful. So yeah, you can see here for one concrete example, the data that is in there from Hamburg should somehow go to there, to Wikidata for the same thing. And you can already see where this is headed. Some of the things that are contained in Freebase may also be already contained in Wikidata. So for example, the image could also be the same as here. You can also think of conflicts. So maybe here it says the population of Hamburg is X, and here it says the population of Hamburg is Y. So you have conflicts that you may want to deal with, or maybe it's just different time contexts. So maybe the Freebase number comes from 2000 and whatever, and the Wikidata number is from 2015. So yeah, you have this already, and then as a last case, you have simply the kind of optimal case where Freebase simply has additional data that was not available in Wikidata. So you have a task of merging, dealing with conflicts, and yeah, then simply adding data to Wikidata. Okay, so that's the migration path. And yeah, again, I kind of told you already what the objective is, but one problem in Freebase is many of the facts that are in Freebase have as a source Wikipedia. So if you have ever written a scientific document, you will see that, yeah, if you give as a source Wikipedia, it's kind of frowned upon. It's not considered a good source in the sense that, yeah, you can reliably say it's in Wikipedia, so it's true. In many cases, it is. But yeah, as you know, everybody can edit Wikipedia. So having real good, reliable sources is a very good thing. So the objective is to add proper sources for all the statements that come from Freebase. So in a more abstract way, subject, predicate, object is the fact according to whatever source. So you can see the source in green. So let's make it concrete. Hamburg, head of government, Olaf Scholz, according to, for example, Olaf Scholz's, whatever the genitive is, homepage. So .hamburg/main. This could be a reliable source. And everybody could say, well, that's really the actual fact. It's written here on his official homepage. He's the only person in control of it, maybe his media team, but we can trust these guys, so we can accept this fact. Hamburg is the head of the government of Hamburg at the time being, at the very moment. All right, so that's the objective. So the architecture, how did we build, how did we approach this tool? Essentially, we start with Wikidata. So we look at a Wikidata item page, in this case for Hamburg, and then we ask Freebase, hey Freebase, do you have data about Q1055? So this is Hamburg, if you remember from before, that I, Wikidata, haven't. And then Freebase says, hey Wikidata, yeah, I know that Q1055 has a foo whose value is bar according to Buzz. So in a more concrete way, Q2055, foo bar according to Buzz. So where does this Buzz actually come from? So you remember I told you in Freebase, many of the facts have as a source Wikipedia. So we have a research project called Knowledge Vault, who works with text extraction to then try to find from semi-structured, unstructured, and structured text as well, sources for facts. So when you have a web page that talks about whatever, and there's some mention of foo and bar, you can try to map it to Q1055 to Hamburg, and try to come up with a hopefully reliable source based on a number of signals. So in more technical terms, on Wikidata, we have a script that is running, and it checks Freebase for additional sources. And then the user's task is to disapprove or to approve the suggested data and the proposed sources. So some background on Knowledge Vault. It's a highly technical research work. You can see the paper here, KDD 2014, so quite recent. So if you have access to the ICM, you can find it, and probably there's also a way to find the PDF somewhere as a preprint on the internet if you're interested in the background of this. But just so you know, this is an additional project that we, in this case, had nothing to do with, but we used their results. Okay, so I thought, well, how can I best illustrate how you can create a user script? What even is this? So I decided to give Wikidata a code.talks visual makeover. So if you're logged in, you have a user page, and then each user can have a number of files, and you can have one common JS file and one common .css file. So as the name suggests already, the .css is for styling, the .js is for adding programming logic. And how do we actually approach this? Let me show you in some live coding. All right, so This is just a random Wikipedia page on intensifier. It's actually not random. I planned this very well, but it's it's a random page in this case. You can see it looks like Wikipedia looks like. So let me go to my own user space. So I'm logged in, and then I go to my common.css file. It's just a regular wiki page, so I can edit it. I added the source of this, and you can see I've prepared something. And if you speak CSS, you will recognize what I'm doing here. I'm attaching to the body a background image, which is stolen from code.talks.de, and I give it the official code.talks background color. And if I save this now, you can see, whoa, we have a completely new look for Wikipedia. And if you look close enough, I'm not sure if you can see it on the projection. Here you have these code.talks, whatever polygons. So if you go to code.talks, you can maybe recognize it a bit. So this is a full page. So let's see, maybe somewhere here. Yeah, so here you can see this pattern. And now my private Wikipedia looks exactly, oops. N.Wikipedia, my own Wikipedia, now has a code.talks look and feel. So yeah, you can see it's super easy. I just modify my common.css, and I can make over my complete Wikipedia. So there are a lot of hacks that make Wikipedia more fun, more acid, more LSD, more readable. So yeah, it's kind of a visual makeover. So let's go back to the slides again. This is for the styling part. Let me actually do something more fun. Let's create XKCD 37 moments on Wikipedia. I give you a second to read this comic. My hobby, or actually I can read it to you. Whenever anyone calls something an adjective as noun, I mentally move the hyphen one word to the right. So you can see these two guys here. Man, that's a sweet ass car. So let's write a super simple user script that does just that. So that creates an XKCD 37 moment on Wikipedia. And so you can see this is XKCD 37, one of the earliest. I'm a huge XKCD fan. You can see these were still drawn on regular paper, and he scanned them in and yeah, put them on his homepage. So let's actually do that. So let me go again here. We open the intensifier page. And let me increase the font size a bit. Intensifier is a linguistic term for a modifier that makes no contribution to the propositional meaning of a clause, but serves to enhance and give additional emotional context. All right, so now you know what an intensifier is. Let's have a look at examples. And you can see here, a sweet ass ride. All right, so that's still a regular thing. So let's write a user script that makes this a sweet ass ride. So as-ride. All right, so therefore, again, I go to my homepage. I go to my common.js file. Let me actually make it a bit smaller now because it's hard to edit. So you can see there is nothing in there. So nothing happens really. But now I can edit the source. And I try to make it just as big that you can see it. And I now write, and I hopefully don't mess this up, the code for that. So Walker equals document dot create tree Walker. We start at the body, and we want node filter exactly dot show underscore text. So who of you has known the tree walker in JavaScript? It's a very little known API, and I actually have with a colleague written a research paper where we examined certain ways of creating XKCD moments as fast as possible. So there's a talk today on JavaScript performance. So this was an actual research paper on how to accelerate this task of modifying text on a page. Okay, so what this does is essentially we go through all trees, starting from the body, and we only take the text nodes from it. So it turns out that really tree walker is the fastest way to do so. All right, so then we have all the text nodes, and then we need to iterate over them. So while the walker has a next node, walker dot current node. So we get the current node now. Dot text content equals the same thing, but now we need to actually apply the text replacement. So we have a regular expression that we want to be global and case insensitive, and we want to find anything that is within word boundaries, and we want to have sweet, bad, smart, and dumb. Then we don't know if there's a hyphen or a space. Then we have the term as. Then we have a space. And then we have a number of text characters. And I think this should be the right regular expression. If you spot an error here, shout now. But I hope it's good. And then we need to actually apply the replacement. So $1 is the first group, so the sweet, bad, smart, dumb. And we take it, and then we take the second group, which is the as. And then we apply the dash. And the last group, which is whatever word follows here. Okay. Anybody see any errors here? No? Okay, so it's also saying here 0 errors. So let's save that page. And then our big moment, we go to our intensifier page. And awesome, we have a sweet as write. So that's a super simple user script that I've written here. So yeah, the as write is here. So you can see, well, it's relatively easy if you've ever done Grease Monkey programming, or if you have ever created browser extensions with content scripts. That's essentially the main idea here, but running within a Wikipedia/Wikidata context. Okay, so let's go back to the slides. This was going well enough. So yeah, we essentially created this primary sources tool with the given motivations that you've seen earlier. The code is on GitHub in the main Google repo / primary sources. And yeah, this tool consists of a backend, which is written in C++. So this was mainly done by Sebastian. It's a very simple RESTful API, but then also a database backend that is able to deal with data dumps from from Freebase, which are really huge. So it's I don't know how many, but really a lot of data that comes as a dump and is pushed in the database, and then slowly, one by one, we can get it. So there's a simple API like get/entities, then the QID, so Q1055, for example, that would give you all the data that is known in Freebase for Hamburg. All right, and then there's a front end. This front end was started by me, and the rest was done by Thomas, who also worked to some extent on the back end. And yeah, it's as I said, a user script. So you've seen my xkcd user script. This user script is a bit more complex. It's a bit more ugly, obviously. But yeah, you have seen the main ideas in the architecture slide. So we ask for each Wikidata item page that we're on, we ask Freebase, hey Freebase, do you have any additional data that I don't have? And then Freebase responds so in this case, not directly Freebase, but Sebastian's REST API that runs on Wikimedia sources. And then the good thing is, once you're logged in Wikidata and in Wikipedia, you have access to the Mediawiki API. So let me also show you how this looks like. So if I go to Wikidata, and I open just about any page, now you can see I'm logged in. So this is my username. So now if I open my console here, I can access the Wikimedia API. I can do simple things like, for example, get my tokens. So you can see these are my editing tokens. So whenever I present one of these tokens and I run a request to edit something, this will be like my authentication token, so that the Wikimedia people, or Wikidata people in this case, know that the edit is coming from me and that I'm also authorized to do this, to run this this edit. And yeah, you've seen already this API. API equals new mw.api, no, lowercase API. And then in the API, I have a number of things that I can do. So I can get stuff, I can post stuff. For getting, I don't need authentication. For posting, so when I modify something, I do need authentication. So let me actually go back here to the slides to show you how this looks like. So this is the Mediawiki API documentation. And then this is actual code now from the Userscript. So this is getting claims for a given subject predicate. So what I'm saying here is, in the subject, give me all the claims for Hamburg, for the predicate, for example, mayor. So I could get all the claims that come from Wikidata for the mayors of Hamburg. And you can see, like I've done right now, API equals new MW, so MW for Mediawiki API, and then you have API.get, and then you give an object, WB get claims, so that's from here, the modules, WB get claims. The entity should be the subject, the property should be the predicate, and then you have, it looks somewhat promise-like. When it's done, you get the data, so you can return it in a callback or whatever, and do stuff with it. And if something goes wrong, you obviously have the callback error. So yeah, as I said, for the getting functions, you don't need authentication. But then for the posting, so if you want to create a claim with references, for example, so you have a claim, as you may remember, is the subject predicate object qualifier pair, and also the sources. And yeah, so if I want to create one of these, I have to authenticate myself. So you have seen earlier how I did this MW user tokens get, and I want from the get the edit token. And then you can more or less see the same thing again. So I prepare my value, so make it in a format that Wikidata accepts it. And then API.post. The action is set reference. Statement is from my data, the claim ID, blah, blah. This is some low-level Wikidata stuff that's not really relevant here. I can give it a summary, so saying in the editing summary that this is coming from, for example, the primary sources tool. And then I can run this request, and it will directly edit Wikidata. So this is for writing. Okay, so once this was ready, we tested it. We had a number of kind of beta testers, and finally, eventually, the user script got converted into a so-called gadget, which means people can easily activate it, so they don't have to go to their commons.js file and paste in stuff manually or link to stuff manually, but they can just activate it in their preferences. So we created the primary sources gadget so that people could use it directly in their Wikidata instances. Okay, so One problem that we encountered was, so remember what we wanted to do. We wanted to get facts from Freebase into Wikidata, and we wanted to find sources for them. The problem was Freebase has as sources oftentimes Wikipedia. But now many web pages, it turns out, are based on Wikipedia pages. So yeah, cytogenesis starts. So this guy invents some fun fact that he enters into Wikipedia because yeah, everybody can edit it. At some point, a rushed writer checks Wikipedia for a summary of whatever concept, and then this person, by accident, reads this person's fact. And then at some point, yet another user sees, when reading through Wikipedia, hey, there's this fact, but there's no actual claim. So he tries to find a claim for it, a source for it, and then they find the article of this person. So yeah, you can see already this is a kind of, yeah, as XKCD calls it, cytogenesis, which is not really good. So yeah, we encounter this a lot, where Knowledge Vault would extract facts from web pages that initially were based on Wikipedia but didn't say so. So it turns out a lot of people violate the Creative Commons license by not citing the sources or attributing the source as coming from Wikipedia. So yeah, there was actually not a simple way to detect it. So we had this problem a lot. So from the sources that we got from Knowledge Vault, we could only accept yeah, a smaller fraction of what we had expected because of this problem. All right, so I've been talking a lot, so let me actually show you the tool in live. So let's go here. Let me close the developer tools. We don't need them now. What the gadget, so as I said, a gadget is a grown-up, yeah, thanks, a grown-up user script does is it adds here a random primary sources item link. So if you click it, we are navigated to a random Wikidata item page where Freebase data is available. So hopefully this is loading. Let's see, we have the spinner. Oh, the excitement. Okay, let's try again, sorry. Okay, now you've seen the gadget has kicked in because initially this link wasn't there. So pay attention to this. I refresh again. It's not here, and then boop, it's here. Okay, so I go to a random page. Don't let me down. Of course, it was working earlier, but now it's broken. I am happily prepared, so I have a link here. So this is a movie, I think, Nemesis 3, Pray Harder. I have no idea what it is. But apparently, yeah, it is something that Freebase has data about. So actually, we can go to Freebase and check freebase.com. Nemesis 3, Pray Harder, here it is. If you go to the page, and you can also see here this red notification bar, Freebase will be shut down. It's in read-only mode already, so we can kind of see these are the facts that we know from Freebase about this movie, Nemesis 3, Pray Harder. And if I go back to, where was it? Here, my Wikidata page, you can see in white, these are the facts that Wikidata knows about Nemesis 3. So it's an instance of film, which makes sense. It has an IMDb identifier of this. So if we go there, we can actually see the IMDb page about this 4.6 rated movie. If we go back here and we scroll down, we can see the director is Albert whatever. Original language of work is English. And then you can see here in blue, this is the data that comes from Freebase. So we say here, the original language of the work is English. One of the sources here in Wikidata is imported from English Wikipedia. Probably not the best source. So we can see here a couple of resources that are suggested by Freebase. So if we go here, And we search for English. Yeah, so you can see here, English is mentioned here. So yeah, we could take this as a source. It's not the best source, so it's arguable if we actually want to accept it. So in this case, let's actually reject it because it's not the best source, as I said. And now if I refresh, you can see here, and probably a Vietnamese torrent site is also not the best reference for that. So we can also reject it. But then we have a number of other things like cast members, and then you can see already these are the existing ones. But then there's this one other one. Sorry, two other ones actually. So Debbie Mugley and Ursula Sarchev. No references, so I'm actually not sure, so I better leave it. So maybe somebody who has the knowledge of this movie can say, yes, that's true or not. But as I said, we wanted to get primary sources, so we wanted to get really good sources for it. So the genre is action movie, and we have here a couple of other suggestions. We have thriller also, rapid movies, so let's maybe check this. Rapid movies, also looks like a torrentish site. Thriller, so the genre. Yeah, okay, so maybe not the best source, but we could accept it. Let's see if we have something better. Country of origin, United States of America. Rotten Tomatoes, that's an official, yeah, kind of reliable site. Does it say anything here about USA? Not really. So you can see already, it's a problem really to find really good sources. And we have here also Denmark, not sure about it. So we are probably sure that it follows Nemesis 2 because it's Nemesis 3 and it's followed by Nemesis 4. So even if I don't have sources for this, I can approve this. So pay attention, now it's blue because it's coming from Freebase. If I approve it and wait for the refresh, and everything goes right. Let's search for follows. Yeah, you can see now it's white. And now if I wanted, I could add a reference here and yeah, say this is coming from whatever. Okay, and it's followed by Nemesis 4. This also looks true. So I can approve it. And then if we go down, you can now see it's white. So now it's actually in Wikidata directly. All right, so let me go back to my slides. So you've seen the tool, you've seen some of the problems of it. I'm wondering why the random link wasn't working, but it was working earlier, so maybe it was a temporary Wi-Fi glitch, I don't know. If you want to try it out, yeah, you're more than welcome to do so. So you can find the slides for this talk at bit.ly/code.talks. I wonder why anybody hasn't claimed this yet, so I'm the first, so I claim it, bit.ly/code.talks. You can find the code of this tool at the Google Primary Sources repo. And then the most important thing really, if you want to play with the Primary Sources tool, you can navigate to this page, and there it tells you exactly how to activate it. So you can activate it by going to your user preferences, and then you can see in the gadgets here, so that's the gadgets section, that you can activate the primary sources tool, and you can see I've already activated it. So you don't have to fiddle with common JS files, with common CSS files. This was just for showing you how we did it. But yeah, you can just place a check mark here, and then you can use it right away. And yeah, be good. And yeah, if you want to see smart ass tweets, I'm Tomayak on Twitter and essentially everywhere. And I guess we have maybe 2-3 minutes for questions. Thank you. Any questions in the audience about this tool, about Wikidata, Freebase, structured data, the meaning of life and anything? All right, so I guess you're still tired. I leave you to coffee then, and also I will have a good coffee now. Thanks again, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the conference. Bye-bye.